night on going to bed early. I sold them this morning on not eating candy for breakfast. I sold my husband on bringing me a cup of coffee to bed this morning. Amen. So there is so much to learn in the world of sales. And so I'm excited to get into this. This talk is called 4 Things You Will Always Need to Sell Anything. Now let's get into it. Pen and paper is going to be your friend today. Listen, we've got 4 things to cover, but we've got 2 topics, really. And here's what's so interesting about this. It doesn't matter what you're selling. I told y'all it's hot a little bit. I'm a little hot for some reason. Like I turned the heater on when it should have been the AC. I turned the AC on when it should have been the heater. I'm trying to keep up. So if you see me like getting my pastor rag and my cup of water, please ignore. The 4 things you need to sell anything. And here's what you got to know. When I was reading an article by Inc. magazine, and it was a gentleman who has been following sales gurus for a while. You know who they are. I don't need to name them. And he was saying something that he found that was in common with all their messages. And that's how he made this list. Well, I've been in the world of sales for nearly over a decade, 15 plus years, actually. So my perspective on whether these elements are true or not, I think is valuable. And what I found is they were true, but man, I knew he could have gone so much deeper on why these were true and how they're connected. And we're going to do that today. So here's what you got to know. 2 of the things we're going to talk about are not even about the products. It doesn't even matter what you're selling. That's profound. 50% of what you need to be successful in a sale has nothing to do with what you're selling. That's a whole word right now, because y'all know I could go off, especially in the space that we're in.
Recording in progress.
Thank you for that, team. Especially in the space that we're in. Oh, girl, but it's faster, but it's quicker, but it's easier, but it's cheaper. You're always going to be able to find faster, cheaper, easier, quicker. And I want to save somebody, because you think the reason you're not successful is because of what you're selling. That's only 50% true. So just so you know, 50% of what we're going to talk about is about the messenger, and 50% of what we're going to cover is about the actual product. So before we even get into what you are selling, I don't care what you're selling, we got to work on the messenger. Because the first 50% of what someone sees is not the product. It's not the testimonials. It's not even what it is and what it could do for them. The first 50% of what people see when they are being sold is the messenger. So the first 2 things are about the messenger. The second 2 things we're going to cover is about the product. And let's get into it. I'm excited. Thank you guys in the chat. I see you. So I've been in sales for 15 plus years. I mean, my very first sales job, I used to work a long time ago for Verizon Wireless, and I worked in our business department. And my job was to contact businesses that had these big major accounts to make sure they were happy and to get them updated on whatever it is we're selling in that season. Now, I told y'all this was 15 years ago, right? So data plans and data packages were new. I still remember business owners telling me, my employees don't need access to internet on their phone. Why would you ever need access to internet on a phone? My employees don't need text messaging. That's so weird. Why would they message me when they can call me? So your girl's been in this for a minute. And I remember years and years and years and years ago, applying some of what I'm about to talk about. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that it was effective. And I knew as the messenger, before I even got to the pitch, before I even got to what could solve their problems, I had to first be someone they wanted to buy from. So here's the first thing. The first thing you need for someone to buy something from you, I don't care if it's a product, a concept, an idea, is you need likability. People have to like you in some format in order to buy from you. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to tiptoe around their feelings, that you have to kiss bottoms. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you have to be likable. And so when you think about people that you've purchased from, odds are you didn't dislike them. You might be neutral, but you didn't dislike them. You are way less likely to buy something from someone if you don't like them. I mean, come on now. Y'all have that one person that's been hitting you up about their thing, but you won't even answer their message because they acted a whole buffoon during a heated political season. Am I right? Ooh. You got that one friend that you want to buy something from, but you don't really appreciate the way they talked about Kanye West on their Facebook. You know that I'm right. You know that you don't want to say you're that petty, but hey, it's your money and you get to put it wherever you want. I have a coffee shop in my neighborhood that opened up during the pandemic. And you guys have probably heard me talk about this place. I love the ambiance. I love the family. I love the mission. They are likable. And I find myself there even when I don't want a coffee. I was there at 8:30 last night getting a tea. Like I can't make my own tea. But I like being there. I like them. I like their story. And the more that I got to know that family and what their dreams were, the more convicted I feel to stop in and to grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I know that their likability has made me a consistent customer. Now, people will always tell me, Wanda, does that mean I need to keep my opinions off the internet? Not necessarily, but I will tell you, I wasn't as opinionated when I was broke. You could call that right or wrong. But when I needed to really secure my business, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to argue with people about Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj. Some of you are arguing in a tax bracket you can't afford to be in. You need to get less opinionated because no one really cares about your opinions, and you got to get more strategic. Now, when you get to a place where you can afford to be problematic online, go at it. But until then, my advice to you is to curb that need to always be opinionated. Every time you want to share your opinion on something, think of it like a bumper sticker, okay? You ever seen a vehicle that has like 100 bumper stickers on it? And you're just like, what is this person going through in life? Did you know that if they were to be called for jury duty, that this would be one of the things that people consider? Because people who have a bunch of bumper stickers are considered overly opinionated. Some of us are overly opinionated, and we think that because Facebook is asking us what's on your mind, that we really need to. In Spanish, there's a saying, it doesn't sound very good in English, but it basically says, just throwing up everything that's inside of you. You don't have to share every thought that comes to mind. I've never been able to advance any of the causes that I'm incredibly passionate about by just dumping my opinions on the internet. And there are amazing people who are working really hard at what they're doing, but they don't have that likability factor. I remember when I first got started in the world of sales, I was in a company and man, the energy was so amazing and so high. And there was this one like group that was doing really, really well. And everyone wanted to know what they were doing and studying what they were doing. And I did too. And so I would find myself kind of sneaking into team meetings or sneaking on team calls. And I was shocked because they were militant. They were strict. They would say it like it is, right? And everyone kind of admired that. And so I saw this trend, and honestly, it maybe wasn't even from them, but I saw this trend in the world of sales where everybody wants to be Gary Vee and everybody wants to cuss everybody out, and that makes them feel so good, okay? Gary Vee is in the tax bracket where he can afford to cuss a couple people out and he can afford to lose some sales. And so I would ask you to consider who you are and be who you are. Likability is a factor. Likability is the first key to selling anything. People don't buy from people that they don't like, that they argue with. And so if you're selling something, you gotta ask yourself, you gotta look at yourself and scan and be like, what's my likability factor? If you really wanna know, go look at your own social media outside of yourself and just look at it from outside of yourself and see, what is this? Maybe I need to work on this likability factor. The second thing about the messenger, part 2, the second thing you need to sell anything to anyone is credibility. Now, this one's a little hard. So I remember when I got involved in sales, I struggled because I thought nobody's going to buy this from me. Like, I don't really know that much about this. I don't know all the answers to all the questions. I'm scared to really sell this because what if someone asks me something I don't know? Like, I felt my own lack of credibility and it really stopped me from going to the next level. I want to encourage the people on the line right now that this is you. Because here's the beautiful thing about credibility. You could build it. And you know what's powerful about social media? Your friends are going to see the shift in you through the content you post. Sometimes I get reminded from Facebook, something I posted in 2008, and I just cringe inside. Like, what were you doing? It's a whole lot of 2008 Basketball Wives updates. Don't judge me. You got your stuff too. And I'm like, what was I do? Who was I talking to? Ma'am, who were you talking to? You got that auntie that still uses Facebook like AOL Messenger, about to have dinner, sit down and get these feet relaxed. I've been working all day. Ooh, my favorite TV show is on. What are y'all up to? Wait, this is not text message. This is Facebook. This is Instagram. This is what I used to do. And I think it was like a early 2000 thing on the internet where we just gave each other updates because there was nothing else to do. Like driving home from work. Literally, we would write this. But some of us have not updated our experience online. And I would tell you that you're misusing a powerful tool, because one of the best ways to show your credibility is by showing your personal growth. Your friends are going to notice that you went from just posting, rap battle updates to now posting success quotes, posting about the book that you're reading, posting about the conference you're at, the event that you're going to, the thing that you're excited about. They're going to notice that shift in you. Warning, at first, people reject a change in other people. But what you have to do is be consistently growing. Because a lot of people won't believe that you're actually changing. They'll be like, girl, she in that thing, so she all positive right now. But 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later, they have no choice to respect it because it's consistent. Your family and friends are not going to be a huge fan of your change, even if that change is for the better, because people don't like change. They're going to think it's phony or temporary. And depending on who you are, you might have shown this before and slid back. So they might be right in thinking this time won't stick. Prove them wrong. Be consistent. Do you want to know the fastest way to build your credibility? Consistency. Consistency. It's the fastest way to build your credibility. Do the things you said you were going to do and keep doing them over and 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 over. Eventually, people will stop asking, are you still doing that thing? Because it'll be obvious to everybody, oh, she's still doing that thing. We don't even have to ask her. And consistency is something you can build. Here's the beautiful thing about what consistency does. Consistency also builds internal confidence, and that internal confidence is evident to people around you. And the reason that consistency builds confidence is because it builds self-trust. And the reason it does that is because consistency is about keeping the promises you made to yourself, not to anybody else. So even you will start to think, man, I am way more credible than I used to be. I don't hit snooze like I used to. I get up when my alarm goes off. I turn in things on time. I do things in a proper manner. I am responsible. Man, even I am impressed by my change. And there's a confidence that stirs up inside of you. You want to know who lacks the most confidence? People who break the most promises to themselves. They suffer. You say, I just have no confidence. When you break promises to yourself. You said you were going to have a salad, you had a burger. You said you were going to get up at 7, you woke up at 8. You said you were going to the gym and you didn't. You said you were going to read the book and you didn't. You said you were going to the conference and you didn't. Baby, I wouldn't trust you either. So the fastest way to build that credibility, build it with you first, and it'll overflow to other people. Now that's the first half. We haven't even talked about the product, but isn't that a relief? Isn't it a relief to know like, half of the battle is just improving me? 50% of my conversation is going to happen before I ever make an offer. And it happens through my likability and my credibility. Now let's move on to the second half. This is all sales psychology. The second thing is about the product. It's about what you're selling. And believe it or not, I find myself guilty of a couple of things when I talk about these topics. Because some of us have gotten too smart. We know too much. right? When you first started selling the protein shake, it was like, girl, it tastes so good and it has low calories. Now, 6 months later, you're talking about the chemical compound of the breakdown and the license that you can only get in Fiji and the sourced water from Africa. Like, it's way too complicated. You're impressed, but nobody else is. And what I love so much about this second half is that it's very simple. 4 things you need to sell anything to anyone. Number 3. Let's get to the product. It's got to be a solution. It has to be a solution to their problem. Now, if you're like one of my amazing legacy family investors, right? We are a little geeky. We get on the charts. We talk about the market. I was on the phone with a gentleman yesterday who's literally across the globe. And he was asking me, okay, what would you give to, what advice would you give to someone now that we're in a bearish market? What would you do if you had a couple $100 to your name? And we were talking about this. And I found this information applicable in that conversation because I realized the problem he had was he had little capital and little knowledge. The solution I offered was gain some knowledge. What problem do your customers have? In this world that we're in right here, Legacy, the problem our customers have is they want to make more money. It is a universal problem. It's a problem that majority of people might say they have. I want to make more money. And so what is the solution? Let me show you a way to make more money. But then we get too smart. And we find ourselves with a brand new person having conversations about trend lines and support and resistance and the Fibonacci zones. Like, we find ourselves just getting too smart. And now we are no longer speaking to their problem because we're not even speaking their language. Wherever you're at, I want to challenge you to dumb it down. Remember where you were on day one. Do you guys know what got me on day one? Like, what made me say, you know what? I don't care if it takes me a decade to learn this skill set. I'm here. Do you know what got me? A dollar trade. It's real. Like, I literally saw $1.16 trade on my MetaTrader 4 account, like on my phone. And all I could think was, all I have to do is get good at this. It took me 4+ years to get good at nursing. It took me 5+ years to get good at understanding real estate properties and eyeballing it with seconds, knowing if it was for us or not. It took me longer to learn how to be a good wife. It took me longer to learn how to be a good mom. So in my mind, I knew I was capable of learning something. I just needed the information and the time. There was nothing that was magical or mystical about that conversation other than I had a problem. I want to invest my money. I wanted it to be more liquid without the risk of real estate. And I found a solution, the markets. I've always wanted to understand stocks and bonds. I've always wanted to understand that world. I just didn't understand it. And when someone came into my life and offered to demystify it and to make it make sense, I grabbed at that. There's nothing in my story that is complicated or unusual or over the top. And I'm now going on 5 years with this company. 10,000 may fall to my left, 10,000 may fall to my right. I am still right here. And I bet you if you were to look at my husband's computer right now, he's trading the market. Am I right? Yes, he is. You make that money, baby. We are still here because we came for the solution to our problem. We did not come because Mr. or Mrs. Network Marketer of the World was here. We did not come for the fancy or for the frill. We came because our problem would be solved, and we're still here because our problem is getting solved. If you sell someone on the idea of following someone else, they will follow that someone else right out the back door. If you sell someone on the idea of get rich quick fast, they will follow the next person who says get rich quick fast. And baby, there's always get rich quick fast, faster somewhere else. So the best thing to do is to sell someone on the solution to their problem. That's it. Because as long as the solution is still there, they will still be there. So when I think about this and I apply it to myself and I go, okay, Wanda, what can I learn from this? Always speak to the problem. What I learned is that a lot of us can't do that because our egos are so flared up. All we can think about is ourselves. I'm a master trader. I'm the GOAT. I'm the man. Look at my fancy charts. Arr. Look at how much money is in my trading account. That's not realized capital gains, but I'm still going to celebrate it. I'm the man. I'm the woman. Some of y'all are too egotistical to make an impact in other people's lives. You're so inflated. Look at what I did today. Nobody cares. Whose household can you help them get grocery money this week? Whose household can you help them pay off a bill? There's somebody you know right now that's praying for $100 to fall out the sky. It used to be me. But as soon as we start making it all about us and I'm the man, I'm the woman, look at what I'm doing, follow me. You're dumb if you listen to anyone else. I've got all the solutions. It's me, me, me. As soon as you make yourself the product, all people have to do is stop believing in you and they stop believing in everything. And can I tell you, if you're around people long enough, depending on what traumas they're dealing with, they will worship you one day and they will gossip about you the next. It happens. It is all good. It is well with my soul. I don't need you to worship me anyway, baby. I'm not God. And because we're in the people business, we deal with broken people, confused people, depressed people, anxious people, people who don't know how to be around people. We deal with all types of people. So if no one's came after you yet, you haven't been in the game long enough, or you just haven't made a big enough impact. I know people will come and I know people will leave. And I had to learn there's no problem because Jesus fed the 5,000 even after he knew that only 500 would get up from that meal and continue with his ministry. 4,500 people left with a full belly and never talked to him again. He knew that as soon as they put that food to their lips, that they would not follow him, and he still fed them. So I had to teach myself to not be swayed by what other people do, to know who I am, to know why I'm here. 10,000 to my left, 10,000 to my right. I know why I came. There is a solution to my problem. And when you make that the reason that people are here, you will stop having people that are so easily confused and distracted, because one thing people are intimate with is their problem. They are more intimate with their problem than they are anything else. So when you really make this about a solution to their problem, you won't have them. So I call it the ambitious heart. There's a whole nother conversation. The ambitious heart is a hungry dog. So I know in our language, we use the term ambitious in a positive way. But historically, at least scripturally, the term ambitious is really not a compliment. The term ambitious, historically, scripturally, is kind of like, watch out, that's a hungry dog. They'll eat anywhere and they'll bite you. So ambitious people, people who have not been able to address that spirit of always chasing the next thing, the bigger thing, the hotter thing. They have this fear of missing out. It's like I feel sorry for them. They think they have anxiety. Really, that ambitious heart is like eating life. So they're always worried about, what am I missing out on? And you'll hear them say things like, I'm in 5 days, because you never know which one. Because to them, success is a lottery ticket. It's sad that they don't believe. They don't believe in their journey. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that God has good for them. They believe it's like a scratch off ticket, baby, and you got to be ready to win. So unfortunately, those people will chase everything and anything that promises them fast, super quick, easy. They'll forever be looking for a solution. And what's so sad is they will just focus on one thing and actually really give it their all. They might see exactly what they're looking for. Don't be mad at these people. Feel sorry for them. Because I'm watching people who left 3 years ago and they're on their 6th company now. And so I don't wish them harm. I wish them peace and harmony so that they can start to see clearly. Solution. not a dream, not a promise, not this glorified lifestyle. If you sell a solution to people, they will become intimate with it. If you sell them fame, they will follow fame. If you sell them fast money, they will follow fast money. Okay. If you, I'm gonna touch on something a little controversial. If you sell them on follow me, I'm the person, it doesn't matter where I'm at, you should always just follow me. As soon as they find someone bigger than you, more charismatic than you, they will follow that person. Because that ambitious mind is always looking for bigger, better, faster. Lastly, the last thing that you need, and I love this one the most, results. To sell anything to anyone, you need results. So let me ask you a question. If I had 5 minutes to talk to you about what I was selling, should I talk to you about how our chief technology officer has got new data analysts coming in and they're bringing us stuff faster and quicker than the next competition? Should I spend my 5 minutes doing that? Or should I spend my 5 minutes having you listen to 5 60-second stories from brand new people who've been here 30 days, who are already learning, who are in their accounts having fun, and we're starting to think about your last presentation. If I had to count on your last presentation how many times we spoke about results, I should at least have half a dozen. Your story, the person that's speaking story, a brand new person coming on story. Stories are what are really the backbone of sales. We listen through stories. We don't listen through facts. Facts are hard for the brain to visualize and to make concrete. But when you tell me a story, I visualize that person. I'm able to see it. It makes more sense. Those facts become concrete. They're not so abstract. You know the story of Sakina Abdul-Jalil out of Little Rock, Arkansas, an interior designer, a mother of 5 with beautiful grandchildren. She homeschools, a woman of God. She gets to spend her life doing the things she loves. And she also is a grandma who trades. You know the story of Francis Rodriguez, a prior banker who was let go during the pandemic, didn't know what she was going to do, but she picked up this skill set, and the company that laid her off rehired her at a higher wage because she knows so much about this world now. They need her to teach the people that were once above her. You know the story of Randy Webb, a military pilot, a C-130 pilot, a father of 5, a real estate investor who was looking for a way to invest, but more liquid with less risks. You know the story of Wanda Webb, a nurse turned coach, turned trader. These are what have to be the backbone of what you are selling. The last time you talked about this concept, did you talk about the Fibonacci? Because you wasted your time. Or did you talk about Zay Barron, an up-and-coming, rising, soon-to-be educator who spends his time for free getting on the internet and educating his community because he knows that nobody is coming for them except him? Feel the energy right now. You feel that energy in your stomach? That excitement? That excitement is not there when you're talking about trend lines, but it's there when you're talking about people. So the last thing, and I think the most important thing you need to sell anything to anyone is you need results. This is why I will never sell skinny tea, because I know that's not my calling, amen? Because I'm gonna be eating a low vibrational plate, trying to sell y'all skinny tea, and y'all will know that I'm a fraud. That's okay. I'm gonna stay right over here in my lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane, and I'm gonna stay talking about what I've been talking about for almost a decade, and that is make your money, make you some money. It's what I believe in, it's convicted in, it's what most of these books sitting on my table talk about. It's what I've seen in my own life. I would be a fraud to just chase the next woman, chase the next man, because I like what they got. And I want to leave you with this. If you have an identity crisis, you're going to have a hard time in the world of sales. Because there's so many people here. There's so many personalities. There's so many ways to go. You got to know who you are. One of the hardest things I've had to do is to figure out, who am I? What really drives me? I don't want to have to be fake hype with people, y'all. I don't want to have to force the smile. If I got to force the smile, I don't belong there. And 5.5 years ago, when there was a big shift in my life and I had to make a big decision about where I belong, I had to sit with just me. I remember sitting in my closet by myself. It was me and God, and I was terrified because for years I sold fun. Fun was easy for me to sell. Everybody wants fun. And then I had to shift my mindset and I had to sell how I really made money. And how I really made money was not fun. It was investment. And I feel like everything happened because I was being called to be transparent and to be real. All of my mentors made most of their money with what they did with the money they got and not with the money they got. My mentors would be teaching me how to sell the product, and I'm watching them in the stock market. I'm watching them buy houses. I'm watching them brag about their new business, but I'm over here still selling my cup of whatever. I was like, hold on. And I remember asking my mentor once, hey, I really want to invest my money. I'm making money. I really want to invest my money. I was 27 years old. And he said, once you get to $1 million in this, all the secrets. Do you know what that meant? Once you make me some more money, I will let you in on all the secrets. And I knew what it meant because I wasn't as dumb as I looked. And what he really told me is I didn't qualify for that conversation because I hadn't made him enough money yet. Take me off. But God planted that seed because he needed me to know how it felt to tell people they weren't qualified to have that wealth conversation. What we get to do, Legacy, is we get to go back to all those people who have been told unqualified for a wealth conversation, and we get to welcome them through the front door. And that's why 5 years later, I'm still here, I'm still in the markets, and I still believe the best thing you can sell is a money solution. God bless everyone else. I pray abundance on whatever they touch. But for me, I'm going to have a money conversation and I'm going to have a wealth strategy. Because I can tell you all the things, but what you really want to know, what did I do with the money once I sold that? That's the conversation that is secret. That's the conversation that in network marketing, people don't have enough. They will tell you how to sell the cup of whatever, but they will never tell you what they did with that money that made them really rich. Here's the truth. This will not make you rich, but this will give you the money you need to go flip so you can become rich. The job you're at won't make you rich, but it'll give you the seed that you need so you can become rich. It's a multi-step process. And I just want to welcome you guys. I'm excited about our next season. Just the shifts that are happening. I feel blessed to be here. And I want to encourage you. So I'm going to let Instagram go now. I hope that you got something out of today. If you're in the world of sales, or if you're just a person, the world of people, there is something that you can take from this. Don't forget your 4: credibility, your likability, credibility, solution, and results. You can sell anything to anyone, anytime. Be blessed. I hope you guys have massive results. I'll see you on the next live. All right, Legacy Worldwide. Thank you guys so much for being on this call. You know, I want to encourage you to get back to the basics. Like me and Randy were sharing, you know, some details about how we got started. Like we always say, like, man, when we got started in trading, it was the wild, wild west. Pew, 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 pew. 0.10 lot size. Pew, 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 pew. 10 pips. Pew, 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 pew. London session. Pew, 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 pew. Just trying to make some money. Like, it was so insane. We would start with $100 accounts with a 0.10 lot size, talking about let it ride. Like we had no idea what was happening, but we were trying and we were excited. And you know, we weren't the best traders. We didn't have massive accounts. We never lied about having massive accounts. So how did we stay here? I think that people knew that above all else, we wanted to help them. And that anything that worked for us, we would share. And our intentions were never to make money off people, they were to make money with people. I think that's why we're still here. And so I want to encourage you to get back to the basics. Maybe you find yourself talking, you know, like the next person because you think that's what sells people. Just get back to real. Just get back to, hey, you have a money problem. I could give you a solution. I can show you how to take a small amount of your money and let it grow in the market. This is an elementary conversation. My son yesterday, he has his first mini goal is to get to $1,000. And yesterday he's like, I'm halfway there. He's putting checks in his account. We've been showing him how to manage his account, and he's putting checks in his account. He's like, I'm halfway there. And I said, that's awesome, baby. I said, now, question, once you get to $1,000, what's next? He's like, I don't know. I said, what about $10,000? He goes, I said, what was that about? He goes, that's a lot. I said, is it though? I mean, you can get to 1,000. That took you like 90 days. So all you have to do is do that 10 more times. And he goes, you're right, Mom. Even if I didn't make more money, I could be there in about 1.5 years. But if I found a way to make more money, I could be there in less than a year. And just dropping that seed in his mind, he started talking about all the other things that he could do to get to 10,000 in savings. When his first reaction was, oh, I don't know. Some of us just got to get back to the simple and just start having conversations with people about, but how could you? But how could you put 500 in a trading account? How could you go from confidently to live account? How could you make your commitment? See, their job is to always ask the scary questions. But if you had to, how could you? And if you stay there, it doesn't have to get very complicated. You help people and lead them to their own solution. And when they make this their idea, they aren't going to argue with you about no subscription. They aren't going to go back and forth because this was their idea. So I would just think to the basics and to really think about, I'm talking about results and solutions, results and solutions, results and solutions and solutions. I'm going to jump on presentations and I'm going to encourage you to make it all about results and solutions. And if you make your presentation solutions, the 11 million tools that we have in the Academy, you will have less confusion and you'll have faster yeses. I love you. Thank you, Legacy, for being here. Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and end our live. If I'm not sure if we are still live, but I'm going to end. Yeah, there we go. I appreciate you. We're going to end our live. We'll see you on the next morning mentorship call. For those of you that are here in the Zoom room with us, it's just us. Thank you again for being here. I'm going to play some music. This song is called My Success is Inevitable. If you don't know, Randy and I are so blessed to be asked to become educators for IM. More details are going to be coming about exactly what we're doing. But one of the things I'm excited about is to show more people more positive music that can help brainwash them in the right direction. Okay. Can I give y'all a sidebar? Can I give y'all some behind the scenes training? There's been a lot of conversation about the impact of music in our community. And you can have that debate internally. But one thing I know, in my faith, the creator of music, he had an ego. And he saw how powerful music was. And he saw that it was so powerful that he could get people to do things. And he could get people to worship him. And when he was cast out from heaven, and this is just my faith I'm sharing with you, it never says anywhere that his gift was taken from him. He was cast out with his gift. And so I want to encourage you, and I've had to remind myself this too. What we entertain will train us. And even if your brain is smart enough to know fact from fiction, are your children's, are your neighbors, are the people in your life. And so I feel a conviction to play music that speaks to who I truly am, what my real identity is, and to not let anyone sell me on a culture that God did not ordain for me. And so I love you. And in a crazy world, I want you to know something as little as what music you wake up to, it really does matter. All right, Legacy, you guys be blessed. Let's have a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. See you on the next call.